hit it.
First off, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out and the people who put this together, mainly Mr. Lenny, Ms. Robin, Greg and Nancy. I don't want to start naming everybody individually because I'll feel bad if I leave someone out. But everybody, the committee, that played a huge part in putting this together tonight. Thank you so much. Quick little bio, born and raised in San Martinville, through circumstances of life, was able to attend Catholic high school in Iberia, where I met some of the finest people and the lifelong friends. Many of you are here today. So a lot of them couldn't be here, but many of them are here today. And y'all have helped make me into what I am today, truly. Law enforcement was something that I've always wanted to go into, and raised in a house with a strict disciplinarian. Like my father, he was in law enforcement, and he was in state police as long as I can remember. But I didn't have the calling to be a state trooper for some reason. I wasn't too fond of working wrecks and running traffic. I just and one of my classmates who happens to be here tonight, Joey Minville in the back, was a wildlife agent. And Joey and I spoke, and him and Damon Grossi, who was one of my baseball partners, they would talk to me about being a wildlife agent. And he said, man, as much as you like to hunt and fish, this is the dream job, He said, no, don't get me wrong, we starve, but it's the dream job. So, make a long story short, after I played baseball and had my little airboat business with Mom Curly, and I said, what? I think it's very important in life that you do something that truly makes you happy. Money aside, something that you do every day and you come home and you really enjoy what you do. So I took the leap, prayed about it, did it, and I started off at $1,722 a month. Started working in the field, and prior to Hurricane Katrina, got the call to go to Baton Rouge, and very soon thereafter, I found myself running the training academy, doing all the new hires and the in-service training and the specialized training, and got promoted and was the lieutenant over the whole training academy, and was responsible for training every wildlife agent throughout the state, 230 to 250 plus guys, and made a lot of good friends who I'm still in communication with today. And there's aside from running the academy, I was the liaison, the LDWF liaison to the Governor's Office of Homeland Security. I was a graduate of the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center in Glencoe, Georgia. I was an FBI IDC instructor, and obtained many more certifications. As mentioned previously, I received my academic training. I got my bachelor's degree from UL in criminal justice. And when I was working at our training academy, I was able to go to LSU at night. And I went to LSU School of Business, and I received my master's degree in public administration. Because I knew when my father was going to be ready to step down, I knew that I was going to run for sheriff. So we were just getting the wheels in motion, and a degree in public administration is truly made for this line of work. I mean, it's running a public entity from the human resource function to policy implementation to governmental budgeting, budget forecasting, and when we're going to be in charge of a $15 million budget, it's a pretty important degree to have. And some naysayers, some people say, well, Brian's just going to be a continuation of his father. Why? Well, what I say to that is, if you truly believe that, you really don't know me, and you really don't know him. You know, they think that my father's going to run the office from his house, from his easy chair. But you know, that's not true. But if my dad plays a part in it, would that be such a terrible thing? Given where St. Martin Parish was when he took office in 2003 to where St. Martin Parish is today, it befuddles, it blows my mind, really. I mean, you from a fiscal standpoint, and we still, you know, as taxpayers, none of us like taxes, but you know, it's necessary in certain aspects. But from a fiscal standpoint, when he took office in 2003, St. Martin Parish Sheriff's Department had, I think, a total of about $12 million worth of assets and about $2 million in reserve at the most. The deputies were sharing vehicles. Sometimes in the whole parish, you might have only 2 deputies on patrol in the whole upper St. Martin Parish. And today, we're over $20 million in assets. We're almost $8 million, if not at $8 million in reserve. We have the finest equipment that in any law enforcement entity can have. We just built one of the finest firearms training complexes in the whole southwestern United States, just about. Built a new 911 center in Roof. Have an evidence building that is second to none. And so with that said, I mean, I'm extremely proud of what I stand to inherit, so to speak, from a law enforcement standpoint. I'm proud of my father because he, you know, we you know, growing up, we never had a lot of money, we never had a lot of material things, but you know, he taught me how to be the man I am today, and instill that moral and ethical compass in me, and I seek to emulate him in a lot of circumstances, you know, a lot of instances. And I mean, the man he is, how could you not want to do that, right? Yeah. Right now, statistically, from a statistical standpoint, every year the FBI puts out crime ratings. It's a UCR, it's a Uniform Crime Report. It's statistics. And the last couple that came out, St. Martin Parish has been considered this, in terms of violent crimes and property crimes, the safest parish in the whole Acadiana area. Awesome. And that's something we're proud of. And St. Martin is not perfect. You know, we have our issues. You know, right now you have a opioid crisis, drugs perpetuate crime. You know, property crimes and people stealing your stuff. And so my dad and I have a lot of likenesses. You know, and I'll say it again. I always say it like the gap in the teeth. You know, we both have a substantial space there. But most importantly, you know, we truly want to do what's right. And I'll say this: to be a sheriff, you have to make some tough decisions, and even some decisions that might not be so popular politically, but the right thing to do is to make that decision. Then you got to make that decision, because I sleep well at night. You know, I look myself in the mirror and I have a conscience. The likenesses we do have some differences, and from a managerial standpoint, we have a few differences, and I'm gonna make some changes. I'm gonna change the organizational chart. Right now, we don't have a chief deputy. I'm gonna have a chief deputy. I plan on doing a thorough job analysis on every job that falls under the umbrella of the sheriff's office, because I think law enforcement should be two things. It should be effective, number one, and it should be efficient, because as taxpayers, we pay our share of taxes, and money needs to go to the right place. I, as a sheriff, especially as a new sheriff coming in, I believe that the proper thing to do is to physically serve in every division of the sheriff's office, because I think if I'm making these decisions that affect each division, I want to have a working knowledge of each division of the sheriff's office. So I plan on going on patrol periodically with the patrol deputies, conducting investigations with detectives, working juveniles with juvenile, and I think that serves two purposes. First of all, to educate myself, because I don't know everything. There's a lot I don't know. And it's a morale builder, because I know as an agent and having supervisors like Bobby that set an example and that are willing to get in the foxhole with you and get shoulder to shoulder and fight with you, that's a big respect builder. And respect is earned. I don't demand respect, but I plan on earning the respect of not only the citizens of St. Martin Parish, but the deputies and everyone who works for that department, because it takes an entire department. The sheriff is one man, and I'm gonna tell you this, where a lot of politicians get in trouble, and I'm not by no means a politician, but is they put themselves above the people, and this office is the office of the people. Amen. And I'm but one man, and I believe in this management style that he also did, is you surround yourself with people who are not only as smart as you, but smarter than you. And it's a team effort, and you involve them when you're making these monumental decisions. You involve these people with you, and it makes them a big stakeholder. You know, they want to work for you. They want to work for the citizens of St. Martin Parish. And I'll close with this. You can have the best resume, and I'm proud of my resume. You can have the best resume in the world, but if you are not a leader of men and women, if men and women will not willingly follow you, you don't have nothing.
That's right.
And, you know, there's a lot of things going on there that Brian's a good guy, but Brian's not qualified, Brian has no experience. Let me say this. Does experience matter? Absolutely. You know, and I retired with a 20-year retirement with the Law Enforcement Division of Wildlife and Fisheries. Qualifications. Does qualifications matter? They do. And I really do believe that of the known candidates at this time, that I possess the best qualifications of the three. But with all that said, what matters even more than experience and qualification is honesty. Honesty does matter. And I'll say this in the words of the best sheriff we've had, is we will do what's right, do the right way, the right thing, the right way, for the right reasons. And I will be proud to serve St. Martin Parish and to assist in Iberia Parish. Our neighbor, and where I have a piece of my heart will always be in Iberia Parish. And again, I thank all of you for your generosity and taking the time out of your schedule to be with us tonight. Thank you all for coming.